Hey guys, it's Geraldine Ralph. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I have an early childhood program in my home where I create content to help you run an amazing early childhood program in your home. So today I am going to be talking to you about the licensing process. I've had a lot of questions about how to get licensed and how I'm going to be taking my program from a family home daycare in one city and then moving to another city. So today I am getting ready to fill out all of my licensing paperwork, and I've highlighted a few things in my packet so I can share with you the process of getting licensed. Even though I have a licensed program in my current home in Madison Heights, now that I'm going to be moving to Farmington Hills, I'm going to have to go through the whole licensing process again as if I were never licensed. The only difference for me is that obviously I already know all the rules, so I'll be able to go through it a little bit more quickly. And I am going to be going from a family home daycare to a group home daycare. Also, if you're just getting licensed for your first time, according to the paperwork here, it can take 3 to 6 months to get licensed. I don't remember it taking the first time. I don't remember it taking that long the first time I got licensed, but I don't know, maybe it did. I've been licensed for a really long time. Also, just to let you know, I am in Michigan, so every state has their own licensing rules, and these are the licensing rules for my state. So I'm going to be going through my packet here and just kind of explaining what the process is like and giving you a little bit of insight. So the first thing that we're going to do is obviously fill out this licensing paperwork. So it's got a group of forms here, and all I did was I contacted the state. I actually have a licensing agent, but if you didn't have a licensing agent, you can just go onto the Michigan State website and you can ask for a packet of information. They will send you an application form, and they'll also send you a licensing booklet to give you all the information that you need to get your home daycare licensed. So, first you're going to fill out the form, obviously, your application form. Also, because I'm going to be going from 7 to 12 children, I will need to get a zoning approval. In my packet here, there is a form that I have to take to the city of Farmington Hills and just let them know that I'm going to be opening a home daycare. Now, before you get started, you're going to want to find out what your city rules are and what your state rules are. Also, if you are in any kind of a home association, then you're definitely going to want to find out what those rules are. I personally would not want to open a home daycare in a home association because I just feel like there would be a lot of people that I would have to have rules with, but whatever, maybe it's not as bad as I'm imagining. So I'm gonna be going to zoning. What I'm gonna do is I am about 6 weeks out from opening my program, and I am going to go to the zoning board, and I'm just gonna have them sign this form. In Farmington Hills, I called and they said it's not a big deal to open a home daycare. They don't even actually have their own rules really, other than the zoning board said, or the person I talked to said that the fire marshal might need to come out and take a look at the program and just make sure that I have fire safety and that I'm following the codes, the city code for fire safety. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is getting my zoning approval form filled out and get that turned in so that I can return it with the rest of my application information. To have a home daycare, a group home daycare in Michigan, it's $100, so a $100 fee. So I will be paying that to the state of Michigan. After they receive my application, there's going to be a launch letter and a background check. Now, I've already been through the whole background check. Basically, they will give you the information on where you need to go to get fingerprinted. So I'm gonna have to get fingerprinted. My boyfriend's gonna have to get fingerprinted. And if my daughter decides to move in with me because she's an adult, she will also need to get fingerprinted. Basically, they're just looking to make sure that we are safe people to be around children, which obviously that's a good thing. Next, let's see. I will have to go to the doctor and get a medical release form, which basically just says, I go in for my regular physical and I do this every year. I take this medical form in and it just says that I am healthy and well enough to care for children. If there was some sort of health condition that would be an issue for me for being around children, then obviously that would be noted on that form. The next thing is a documentation of a TB test. Anybody who works with children has to have a TB test, whether you're running a home daycare or you are caring for children in a facility. That's one of the requirements. It's very simple. They make sure that you don't have TB. Let's see. Next, you have to have first aid and CPR for infants and adults, and you also have to have bloodborne pathogen training. So those two classes are several hours. Well, actually the first aid and CPR class is like, I don't even know, like 5 or 6 hour thing. And you go in, or right now they're doing them online, and then you just perform CPR and first aid and the Heimlich maneuver, just to make sure that you know how to do all of those things. Trust me, you want to know how to do all those things when you're working with little ones. Next is the documentation for infant safe sleeping. You have to take an infant safe sleeping class. There's also 2 other classes that I'll be taking regarding the health and safety of children. Those are just licensing requirements for my state. And I will have to check my basement to make sure that there's no radon gas down there. I'm pretty sure it's safe. This is a newer building, but you have to go to actually I'm gonna be going to Home Depot. I get 2 little vials. I put those downstairs for, I think like 5 days, mail them in, and then they check to make sure that there's no radon gas. Next, I will be turning in all that information to the state, and then the next thing that they do is an environmental health inspection, and that is to make sure that, well, we have city water, so we're good. But if you had a sewage system that was private well or septic system, then they would have to come out and test your septic system to make sure that the water is safe for the children. I also personally check my water because, I just want to make sure that the water's safe for the kids. We use a filtration system on our water to make sure that if anything weird happens, I don't always keep up on the news. So if anything weird happens with our water, we're good because we are using a filtration system. Next, you'll have an orientation. So even though I've been opened and I've been running my program for a long time, I know what I'm doing, I still have to go to orientation. That is going to be another 6-hour class, but the good news is the 6-hour class for orientation does count towards the 10 clock hours of training that we have to have as home daycare providers every year. Let's see. Then there's the licensing inspection, and that is when I will actually come into my home, look over my environment, make sure that it's safe for children, and make sure that I have followed all of the rules in the handbook. And some other things that I will have to have in my home are a fire extinguisher, smoke detectors on each floor, carbon monoxide detector on each floor, and a posted evacuation care plan and tornado, fire and drill, or serious accident and injury. Another thing that they're also requiring us to have is an active shooter policy in either posted or in our handbook. So that kind of stinks that we live in that kind of a society, guys. I'm not gonna lie. We also have to have a written discipline policy. I have a parent handbook, so I'm just gonna let her look at my parent handbook. I have all of those things posted in my current preschool program. Also, I have my sick policy posted right on the wall, but I also have a handbook. So I'm just gonna give her the handbook because that is where I have all of that information. The next part is getting your license. So if it's your first time opening your home daycare, it could take up to 3 to 6 months. In my case, I will be going from one daycare to the other. Again, we're about a month and a half out, 2 months out. So I've already started the process of getting my licensing stuff together. I gotta get my paperwork in. That's my goal for this week. When I called licensing and I asked them how long that process takes, just so I can make sure that I am on top of everything and that I can open my program when I plan to open my program, they said they try to work it out so that it's about the difference between like a weekend, so you can close on a Friday and open back up on a Monday. So right now we still have COVID going on. Hopefully that won't be an issue in terms of getting my licensing inspection. But yeah, so that's where we're at with that. Some other things that you need to know is that as the person who's running the program, like myself, I'll be running the program and I'm gonna have a couple of assistants. Every year will have to do 10 clock hours of training, which is really not a problem for me. I love learning about early childhood, so I'm always taking classes anyways. And then my assistants would have to do at least 5 hours of training, plus first aid and CPR. So I hope that answers all your questions about the licensing process. Right now, we are still getting our space together. I'm licensed at my one program, getting ready to get licensed at my new program. We are gonna be putting in a kitchen, so we still have to put the kitchen in for the new program. and I will show you what it's looking like later on in another video. Anyways, thanks for stopping by, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button, because if you are a licensed home daycare provider, you are going to want to continue to follow our content. I'd love to share tips and tricks and strategies for having an amazing early childhood program in your home. Anyways, thanks for stopping by, and if you are getting licensed, good luck to you, because this is a great journey. It's a great way for you to make income from home with your children, and to be able to be a female entrepreneur. Have a fabulous day. Thanks for stopping by.